Hello, people. How are you doing? Welcome back to the RCBian Chelsea Fan TV. And I'm really glad today that I have an audience with me live. Yes, it's the first interactive session that we're going to have, hopefully. And I am pretty sure you're going to love it. And today we are here for a Chelsea talk. Yes, but it's not just that, because yes, the Euros are running on. And with the Euros going on as well as a lot of transfer talk, I was wondering, what should we talk about? But before we begin, I would really like to thank, just the Almighty because Christian Eriksen, yes, he is finally recovering, and I hope that he is going to recover totally very soon and will be back as well. You never know. And coming on to the topic, I believe that I should be talking about both Euros as well as Chelsea because there's a lot of transfer talk, as I was saying. But I've already covered the striker situation in Chelsea. I believe you all must have taken a look at the video. Just I think last week we released a video, right? So now what, right? So I thought let me call two of my buddies who are CFC fans as well, very much so. But you know what? There is an irony. So the irony is that they are budding hosts in themselves, and here I am hosting them on RCBian Chelsea Fan TV. So I would like to welcome them first. Firstly, I would like to call Taron. Hi, Taron. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me on, Ankit. It's a real honor to come on this channel. I mean, I've been watching it for a while. Your videos are always really interactive, really high quality, really engaging for me when I watch them. And yeah, you've helped me out in a recent episode. My podcast went down really well. Got a lot of listens, and yeah, my audience seemed to really enjoy you. And yeah, I'm really happy to be on also with another guest you're going to introduce who, yeah, I haven't actually had the chance to interact with on the live stream before, but we've been on some similar channels before. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into this. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Same here. So actually, that's very humble of you, Taron, because yes, Taron, as you mentioned, like he has a great podcast, guys. It is in the description below. It is the perfect Hatrick, right? So the name itself tells that that is basically the perfect Hatrick podcast, and definitely, I believe that that is a podcast that you all should follow. I've been there and I enjoyed myself thoroughly. So for all of you there, do check it out, right? And Taron, we'll definitely discuss further as I welcome the second guest, and that is Ameya. Hi, Ameya. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm pretty good. As Taron mentioned, really excited to have this chat. And of course, you were also there on my channel, CFC Chats. We did a live stream couple of, few weeks back, I think. Was it you
Right,
and
right.
Manan?
The big
So,
UCL day, I
yep,
think, right? It was the final
yep.
day.
It was, and that was a really great stream. And hopefully, we have another great stream. Excited to talk to Taron as well because I've seen some, high praise, and I've listened to a couple of episodes as well. So hopefully, this, the stream is pretty good. And in the end, can I plug myself as well, or should that wait for the end?
No, it'll be pretty cool, I'm sure, right? So, yeah, Ameya. So same with Ameya, right? So he is actually a budding YouTuber. A lot of things that I've learned already from Ameya, and he's been in touch for a long while. I know we are from the same city as well, so that helps. And yeah, definitely looking forward to chat, guys. And you are two experts. Of course, again, there's going to be a slight subconscious bias towards Chelsea players in our conversations, but the idea here is definitely, we are going to talk about Euros as well as Chelsea. The reason being because we are having what 17 players, I think, if I'm not wrong. Aaron, like that is like incredible, right? Because of the fact that I think a lot of clubs, are having players. I think a lot of German clubs are having players in the Euros, but we are having 17, so it's something to be proud of or scared that they'll be overload. I don't know.
It shows we have a very culturally diverse squad. I think we're not just filled with English players, South American players. We're filled of players from different nations all over Europe. Not just players who are going to just fail to reach the international tournaments. These are players who are fully pledged international players from a host of different nations. It shows that our squad is packed of different kind of talents, different kinds of abilities, different kinds of backgrounds. And yeah, I think it makes me more proud to be a Chelsea fan that my club is so kind of diverse.
Yeah, I agree with that totally, and I couldn't agree more actually. Let's just step into the comments. Yeah, so we have a few people already, and so as we continue the conversation, Ameya, what about you? Like, I'm sure, like following a channel very closely, you seem to be a very big fan of transfers. So I think transfer talk is something that is this is probably the season of transfers, right? So that's something to really discuss. But you think that Chelsea will be able to kind of pull through in all the transfers that are being speculated about?
I don't know. And honestly, I'm pretty sure no one knows, right? Because Chelsea as a club, we're known to get business done behind the scenes, which is why it's exciting now. Because, there hasn't been any new bit of news that has come out in the past few days, which means some wheels are turning behind the scenes. But hopefully we do get that over the line. I think a goal scorer and a DM is a must this window, especially if we want to challenge, like genuinely challenge for the title next season, then we have to fill those two positions even if our first choices aren't available. I know that we're not a club that settles anymore, like we have seen in the past few windows, but then hopefully we do get the exact profile that we're looking for because we're in need of it, honestly.
Right. No, I totally agree there as well. Like, rightly put, definitely it's something to be excited about because of the fact that we are European champions. And this is the time that, we really need to look closely at the Euros because I'm sure, like, there'll be a lot of good performers out there. But, first, let's start with the Chelsea players, right? So should we just step in, guys, into the main topic?
Yep, sounds good to me.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so as you saw there, and we mentioned previously as well, we are having 15 plus first team players and 17 players in the squad totally out of Chelsea in the Euros. But strangely, only 5 of them have played. So, Taron, coming to you first, I know that the first match day is what we are covering here, which is ending today. And I was actually personally very surprised. How about you not seeing Ben Chilwell, not even on the bench for England, as well as Reece James not coming on? Them playing with 2 right backs among like the 3-4 right backs that Southgate had called initially. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, it was a real strange one, wasn't it? 2 UCL winners. That was probably like less than 2 weeks ago. I mean, Chilwell, especially as his end of season form was absolutely sublime. Reece James really pocketed Raheem Sterling in that final. I mean, it was a big surprise to see Kyle Walker starting for me, especially over Reece James. I think in the game you could see Kyle Walker didn't really have the quality that we've been witnessing from Reece James the last few weeks, despite being much more experienced. Even Ben Chilwell was a bigger surprise. Kieran Trippier has not had much football over this season. He had that betting ban in the middle of the season. He's just approaching 30 years of age. And, Ben Chilwell has been playing at a very, very high level for this whole season under Lampard and Tuchel, Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, you name it, all these different competitions. So that was a big surprise. I mean, we can't really say that because it actually paid off in the end and England managed to get the win and Trippier actually had a very good game. Kyle Walker maybe not so much, but yeah, for me it was very, very strange to see Chilwell not playing. I think he could have offered a new dimension on the left as well. He's very comfortable playing wing back, left back, even left centre back at times. And Reece James also is very, very versatile. So yeah, I think they will be used later on in the tournament, especially maybe against Scotland. We'll see Reece James trying to combat Ryan Fraser and some other players. Ben Chilwell could combat Che Adams and a few other players. And yeah, I don't think this is going to be set in stone, but very, very strange for me to see 2 Champions League winners excluded from the lineup.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. But having said that, like I'm glad, like at the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, it's finally they get some rest, especially Chilwell, right? He's played a lot of games, after kind of taking over from Alonso, who strangely started in Tuchel. But yes, as you said, like they are expected to play against Scotland maybe, and they'll probably get a run out that'll keep them going. Coming to you, Ameya. So in the England game, like who was your top performer among the Chelsea players? Like obviously it was only Mount who was playing, but do you think Mount was the person who could probably say that he continued the form that he had, or would you pick another player who played in the same game for Croatia, that is Kovacic?
I think Mount definitely had a good game, right? I mean, it's become quality now. I mean, he wasn't over and above some of the other players. Obviously, Calvin Phillips had an excellent, like subliminal game. Honestly, I criticized Southgate so much before for starting 2 right backs and starting Declan Rice as well as Calvin Phillips, who both play the deepest, lying midfielder for their respective clubs. But it paid off in the end, didn't it? I mean, they got the win, so fair enough to Gareth Southgate for that. And I think Calvin Phillips was the best midfielder there, but Mason Mount definitely had an impact, and it's become standard for him, hasn't it? At this point, like you expect a 7 out of 10 performance from Mason Mount every single game, and that's what he did. That's what he did in that match. So I think it was pretty good. Kovacic as well. I think he had a pretty good game. I mean, I know that not a lot of the fan base usually rates Kovacic, but he had a pretty decent, quiet game, I felt. I mean, he's not the midfielder you expect drive through and, take shots and score from range, although he did take a couple of shots because Croatia's attack seemed pretty clueless that night. But I think Kovacic quietly had a good game, but there was only so much he could do. I mean, we know as Chelsea fans that he lacks that final end product, those shots, those goals, that sometimes those quick passes. So I think that he did all he could, in all honesty. And I think he was the highest rated Croatian player as well, if I'm not wrong. So I think he had a pretty good game, but definitely Pound for me. Had an amazing performance and robbed of a couple of assists as usual. I mean, we've become accustomed to seeing that in Chelsea colours, but in England colours as well. So it's disappointing, really.
Yes, I know I have to kind of go with you there, because yes, I would say Mount did not have like a 10 out of 10 performance that he usually has on most weeks, right? But I think Kovacic was kind of not that good in the first half because of how Croatia really played on the negative front. So having said that, I heard some strange rumors yesterday, right? I don't know whether it's just rumor or news, but there were at least a couple of reports saying that we are going to offer Kovacic for Hakimi. Like, I know Kovacic played in Inter Milan. I don't know if that's enough for us to say that he loves Milan, but why would he go to Inter Milan, and why would Chelsea sell him when we are lacking midfielders? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I don't think that's very reliable, to be honest. I think my grandma could have given those rumors on Twitter and everyone could have believed it. Like, I think something similar to that. But yeah, I think these random rumors come out, that Andreas CF person's kind of making a few rumors right now, like he's acting like, I don't even know, like Janaj Fearfort at times. And yeah, there's a lot of different rumors flying around. But yeah, I think the main kind of fact that I've taken out of these Hakimi rumors that it's going to be Marcos Alonso is looking more likely now to be included into the swap deal. I think Inter Milan have Simon Phillips has reported that Inter Milan are looking at, Simone Inzaghi plays a wing-back system, and who plays that better, Emerson or Alonso? Obviously, Alonso, that's his system. He was world-class and under that system before. So, yeah, I don't think the Kovacic links are. He looks very happy at Chelsea, with Rudiger. Them two always look like they're having a ball. Obviously, we just won the Champions League, and we need more midfielders. So it doesn't look very, a logistic that we're going to sell one of our midfielders. I mean, if Conor Gallagher can come in next season, still I don't see it happening. Even if Loftus-Cheek comes back, if other midfielders come back, I don't think Kovacic is going to leave, to put it that way. Thomas Tuchel clearly looks up to Kovacic as a very, very crucial player. He made a quote quite a while ago saying, if I had a training session at 4 a.m. in the morning, Kovacic should be the first one there. And that kind of shows how much he kind of believes in him as a player. And yeah, if you think about his player ability, he's tenacious, he presses well, he runs the whole game, he's good at attacking and defending. He seems like the perfect Thomas Tuchel kind of player profile. So to sell him would be, I'd say, a board choice, but if Thomas Tuchel will put his foot down and say that, I don't think it's very likely to happen.
So, the reason I'm touching on Kovacic is because in the same game, not in the same game, but I think on the same day, we were rumored with another player, right? Ameya, I don't know if you heard those links. This probably came with stronger reports saying that we are favorites now to sign Grealish. Like, he didn't play the game. All of a sudden, what happened? Man City were absolute favorites, to get in Grealish. Do you think we can accommodate Grealish? And probably we'll have to let go Ziyech or Pulisic, in my opinion. What do you think, Ameya?
Grealish is an excellent player, right? Honestly, one of the best players in the Premier League this season. He had a bit of an injury crisis towards the end of the season, but throughout the season, he was incredible. And he would be a fantastic signing for any club that he goes to. But at the same time, I don't know if we can make space for him at Chelsea. Honestly, we have so many wingers. We haven't even touched upon Hudson-Odoi, who's sort of fallen out of favor in recent times, but he has the potential. So I think we have a lot of wingers, right? The one position we should be concentrating on is the striker, and I hope we can get that done over the line. But honestly, I have this sort of system where if you play Kai Havertz as false nine, then you could get in other wingers as well. But at the same time, if you do play Kai Havertz as false nine, then you need goal-scoring wingers. You need like the Sadio Mane and Mo Salah type wingers. And Grealish is not that. He's a creator. He's not someone who's going to bang 15, 20 goals a season, right? He's like a Hazard type of player, Eden Hazard type of player. And I know that's some high praise, but he is that kind of player, right? He creates space. He draws the fouls. So I don't think we need that right now at this moment in time. Although I would absolutely be for signing him. I just don't know how he would fit in though.
Yeah, just made me recall the days when we had, Joe Cole and Anelka, Drogba. That is the kind of front line we want on the bench. But yes, Grealish is probably, I think it's really a big luxury, right? Probably, we may not be able to afford him as well, I feel. That's a fair point. Coming to this comment, right? So I think Rich, big up Rich, Rich Sports, he says that not the most exciting match for England, but the first time they've ever won the first game in the Euro tournament. I think this is a great point. So considering this, we can probably expect England to do much better and hope, to only go upwards from there. Having said that, let's look at the other Chelsea boys that performed, right? So for me, if I have to pick one performance out of all the Chelsea players this match day, would be Jorginho. I don't know, Taron, what is your call? I know that Ethan Ampadu came on for Wales, but he came on only for a few minutes. So I'm sure Jorginho kind of was the main guy in midfield for Italy, right?
I don't want to be vanilla with my answer and try and choose the same one as you, but 100% Jorginho really, really impressed me. More than Andreas Christensen, more than Kovacic, more than Mount. I mean, that win for Italy they were so dominant in the midfield against a strong midfield of Zizici, some other big players like Yukushlu from West Brom. And Jorginho was the pivotal kind of commander general in the midfield. He was allowing Berardi to drop deep and come into the game. He was playing it through the lines to Immobile, through the lines to Lorenzo Insigne, to Florenzi and Spinazzola on overlaps. It was really a masterful performance. That was kind of what we've been witnessing for Jorginho, for the last few months, especially in the Champions League against Real Madrid, against Atletico, against Porto. He was that guy in the middle who was controlling the tempo, as we've seen under Maurizio Sarri. I mean, I was a bit wary seeing him in a lone six role. I mean, apart from expansive systems, he's a little bit out of place in them roles when the attacking eights kind of go up. He's not really athletic enough to move about there. But that system's built for him perfectly. Barella can tuck in nicely to him. Locatelli or Verratti can kind of move in and make it interchangeable middle three. And that kind of really suits Sarri. If you look back to Maurizio Sarri's system, you'd have Loftus-Cheek, Kovacic, and N'Golo Kante all forming a midfield kind of triangle that kind of interchange really fluidly around the pitch. And yeah, that really worked with Jorginho. I mean, that was really a masterful performance. And not even Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans, Man United fans, Tottenham fans who really hate us were even saying Jorginho was amazing in that game. And that makes me think I should have got him in my fantasy team because, he takes penalties. He played really well. And, honestly, a really masterful performance. But yeah, other notable mentions would probably be Andreas Christensen. I'd say he had a good game, Mason Mount and Kovacic. But, next game week, hopefully we see Chilwell, we see Reece James, we see Billy Gilmore, we see Azpilicueta more and more. And yeah, I think Gilmore will be a big addition to Scotland after what we saw yesterday. Awful in the midfield and McGinn and McTominay. So yeah, but what performance, honestly, from Jorginho. This is what we've seen. This is vintage J5.
Yes, and talking about Azpilicueta, I don't know what Spain is doing because they probably did not wake up for the game. I have no idea what game that was. I have been sleeping for ever after watching that game, and I just woken up before the stream, guys. Trust me on that. This comment from Chelsea perspective, did J5 play alongside Verratti that day? No, I think Verratti was injured from what I know.
Locatelli, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I think that's a fair point. So we've kind of covered all the players who performed till now. So I believe we should go into the next section, guys.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Ankit, you're on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Thank you. And so as I was saying, we just actually covered, one video recently wherein we discussed a lot of striking options for Chelsea that are possible and probably the best fit that we're looking at, right? Now, we've had a few games already and we've had 3 strikers playing right till now. Ameya, I'll come to you. Did you get a chance to watch the Belgium game throughout?
Yep, I did. I in fact missed Lukaku's first goal actually because I was watching Denmark versus Finland. I wanted to see that game through. But I think wonderful performance, honestly. What a player. I mean, I've been saying this for so long. He is literally top 3 strikers in the world. After Kane and Lewandowski, it's Lukaku who's the 3rd best striker in the world. And he's turned into a complete beast under Antonio Conte. And honestly, I hope that we could get him, but I know that it seems less and less likely. The more the Hakimi talks progress, the lesser likely the Lukaku deal seems. But I don't know. I'm still keeping my fingers crossed on Lukaku. I think he has, unfinished business, as a lot of people say. hopefully he can come on and finish that business. And we can see Drogba big upping Lukaku on Twitter as well so many times. So fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. That's all I got to say, because he's a brilliant, brilliant player. In his prime as well, he would fit us perfectly, absolutely perfectly.
I think you hit the nail on the head, right? Because like there's a lot of speculation. And I think people have memories from before. Yes, he's not performed in the big games, but what now? Like irony is Taron. Like I was actually a good big advocate of Lewandowski. I think probably he was my number one choice overall, the world's best striker currently, and Harry Kane. Right? Obviously, these are tough signings as well. But ironically, those two did not perform. I think Lewandowski had a very underwhelming game, and so did Harry Kane. And what do you think can be the reason? Is it like the formation that England and Poland play in, the support that they're getting versus a Lukaku who was brilliant on both the feet?
Yeah, I'll start with Robert Lewandowski. I mean, you put the nail on the head perfectly. If we sign Lewandowski next season, this guy doesn't just score goals, he creates chances, he opens up space for other players. That will instantly, in my opinion, takes the Premier League title. And same with Harry Kane. For me, I know it's unlikely, but Harry Kane's my first choice target. This guy is honestly a world phenomenon. I've never seen a player like him in my life. The way he, brings other players, Lewandowski does it, but Kane to a whole new ability, made Son look like a much better player, in my opinion, than he was when he was playing at Leverkusen and other clubs. Even under, different managers, what impressed me about Kane, under Pochettino, world class, under Mourinho, world class, under Ryan Mason, world class, under Southgate, world class. This guy is a really, really good player. And yeah, for me, but I think I'll start with Lewandowski, like I said before, with the tactics for Poland. I feel like when you have a striker like that up front, you rely on him for everything. You keep playing the ball to him. And then when teams see you doing that, they kind of put 5 or 6 players on Lewandowski. And then you take him out of the game and it leaves players like Zielinski and like Krychowiak to kind of create chances, which doesn't really emulate the whole team playing well. So Poland don't really play as a unit. They play as Lewandowski FC, which is why, Bayern Munich have done so well in the past. They've used Gnabry, they've used Lewandowski, they've used Coutinho, Müller to make a really strong unit, which has made Lewandowski play well. And yeah, that's what's made Poland down for. Yesterday, I saw a team which was not a unit at all. It was just playing through him. When you can't play through him, spam crossed into the box and hope for the best. That reminds me of the old days at Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, with Harry Kane especially, I think England, Southgate is not a very tactically amazing manager. I think it's safe to say that he doesn't know how to, change tactics mid-game. This guy plays a right back and left back and thinks he's a world phenomenon tactician. I think it's just with Southgate, I don't think he's gotten the best out of Harry Kane, in my opinion. If you made Harry Kane look like an average striker, you're not the best manager around. But yeah, I mean, England's tactics are not great. You just see Phillips and Rice kind of sitting there, and then they just let Mount and Foden kind of free roam everywhere, try and create chances for Kane. And yeah, Kane's playing in a very weak system, so is Lewandowski. And I think that's what's made them look like, not very good strikers right now.
Fair point, definitely. Let's look at this comment, right, from Harsh. So basically it says that they actually try to stifle Poland's left side attack, and that is where Lewandowski was stopped. And that's a fair point as well, because I did notice that Lewandowski was trying to basically run channels, which is not his game, like Taron already, mentioned. Like he's the person who kind of is in the box and looks for those creators, and that's where he's probably lethal and the best in the world. And that's a great comment. Another comment, I think, from Chelsea perspective says, given Lukaku's age, the price tag will always be an issue. Now, guys, I really want to talk about age, right? It's a fair comment again, but like in today's day and age, like people think that 30 is old. Trust me, like the best strikers,
FIFA merchants,
the years that probably I have watched football, 30 is a prime, right? And people, yes, they don't have return on investment value so much compared to say someone who's 25. But if you can possibly win 2 leagues in 2 years, that's better than winning 2 leagues in 5 years, because the person who's 25 is probably not ready right now. That's just my debate. I don't know, Ameya, what do you think about that? I think Lukaku, like you said, unfinished business, plus the fact that, he kind of is improved on both his feet. His age is an hindrance, or you think?
Definitely not. Definitely not. And he's 100% in his prime. If we could even get, like you mentioned, like 3 or 4, top quality years out of him. And then if we, for example, go on and win another Champions League, I know that seems, unlikely. But at the same time, if we can go on and win the Champions League, maybe win a Premier League, and if he can get like 4 or 5 trophies using his caliber of player, that's definitely not a bad return on investment. I think that would be excellent business. And he's not that old as well. I mean, Lewandowski is quite older than him, if I'm not wrong. I think Lewandowski is 31.
32
and he,
actually, yeah.
32, and he would still be an excellent addition to the squad. So I frankly don't get the age argument particularly. And if I could quickly touch upon Lewandowski as well, I think Taron definitely hit the nail on the head with that system. I think Kane, he like, I couldn't add anything to what he said about Kane, but about Lewandowski, he's that sort of striker who wants the ball at his feet, and he's waiting in the box to kind of score those goals. And it's no joke that he gets 40 goals in the league, right? I mean, honestly, sublime player, sublime finisher. But when it comes to national teams, you can't have your pick of choice of players, right? If you're at a club, I think you can say, get me this creator or get me this winger who can aid Lewandowski's development. But at Poland, you can't do that. You have to pick the best players that are available to you, and that's what the manager did, and it didn't work. So I don't think you can go off that one performance by Lewandowski, because if we sign him with the amount of chances we create, he would back 30 goals a season for sure.
Right. No, well said there, Ameya. And another point there is because of the fact that like Lewandowski is not performing. I actually spoke in the last stream, right, with a couple of panelists as well. What we thought is, yes, in hindsight, we probably believe that if Norway was in the Euros, it would have been good for Chelsea, because Haaland probably wouldn't have been so successful as what he is. For at club level, right? And that would have got his price lower down. Talking about price, so Taron, Declan Rice is someone that, Chelsea fans already have like a huge longing to. And of course, he's Mason Mount's best bud and all that, and he's a great potential. But in this game, I was very surprised that Calvin Phillips, took the headlines and not Declan Rice. Declan Rice was probably doing the job, what he was asked to. But do you see Calvin Phillips kind of in the reckoning for Chelsea? Any way that we can kind of, bring in the news or start this rumor?
I think it's interesting because, people think that we're going to get Phillips for like half the price of Rice, even less than that. But the fact is, at least they're going to offer something similar, maybe 20 million less, but 60 to 70 million for their star CDM. English tax is something I don't agree with, but in the UK, these English players are so overpriced. Chilwell was like 80 million originally, and we managed to knock it down. Marina, she is a master negotiator, but Phillips is still going to be a similar price. He's going into his prime. He's 25 years of age. And yeah, I mean, in that game, I'm not going to lie, Declan Rice, I've been a massive fan of him for many years. The price tag has put me off massively, but I've watched him score goals from long range, dominate games in the middle against big clubs, play with his amazing passing range, dribble well. I mean, this guy alongside Thomas Suchek, it looks like a dynamic duo midfield. But yeah, in that game, Phillips really stood up. I mean, he was playing more of a box-to-box role, which I haven't really seen of him. It shows he's more versatile. He doesn't just rely on the single six position to be a good player. I mean, he's played under Marcelo Bielsa's system in a lone six role, which means he's going to have to rotate a lot with the other double eights at times. Marcelo Bielsa's system is very demanding, and you have to run multiple kilometers per game. So yeah, Phillips is definitely a very tactically in-suited player from yesterday's game and his season overall under Marcelo Bielsa. In that game, his assist to Sterling was very good as well. He dribbled through, I think, 3 or 4 players and played an inch-perfect ball on the money, which even Sterling could finish. The guy's been in awful form the whole season. Perfect. But yeah, me personally, I'm a massive fan of Declan Rice. I know the price tag is a very big deal, but I've already mentioned it. This guy is a real deal, in my opinion. 21 years of age, a leader. He's managed to make Mark Noble's, absentee from the team seem like a tiny thing. In reality, it's like us getting rid of, in the days, imagine John Terry is playing for us and we bring in, I don't know, like, what's a player like Azpilicueta?
Gary Cahill, right? Like Gary Cahill, no one expected him to captain the way that he did, right?
Exactly. Yeah. At the age he is as well, like 21 years of age, it's incredible, honestly, for a guy at that age. And I know the Mason Mount thing isn't a big deal for a lot of people, but if you have 2 players in the team in midfield who know each other inside out, that's going to make the team as bond, the team connect. Where's the player going to run here? Is he going to come inside? Is he going to run to the back post? You're going to know instantly where they're going to go. Yeah, but yeah, Declan Rice for me is the real deal. But yeah, Phillips is still a great player.
Okay, fair point. So guys, we've covered all the rumored players that have performed in the matchday 1 of Euro 2020. That kind of takes us deep into the transfer market. So let's go on to the next topic. Okay, so it's time for scouting, guys. I know that you guys, love that. And Euros and any international major tournament is for that, basically. We are just scouting every match and trying to kind of, start a rumor. Having said that, one person that really impressed me, I know that Chelsea are not really covered at backup left back if in case Emerson and Alonso leave as speculated. So for me, it was Uronen of Finland. I know that the Finland Denmark game was marred by the incidents that happened on the pitch previously, but Uronen throughout the game, even the first half, was really strong on the ball, and Finland played a very counter-attacking game, and that's where the left wing back, the position he was playing in, really played to perfection. So he was my kind of player. I know he plays for Genk, not played in the big league, but for a second choice left back, I think he probably overperformed in that game. I'll have to look up the reels for the rest of the games that he had in Genk. But apart from that, guys, I'll come to Ameya. Ameya, any particular player that comes to mind which people may not know about and you think Chelsea should go considering our squad?
Yeah, I think after last night, everyone knows about it, but that's just Chelsea's fan base for you, isn't it? I mean, once you see a player for the first time, you're like, get him to Chelsea, get him to Chelsea. But I'm not that kind of guy because I've been following this player for a very long time. Honestly, Alexander Isak, he's a brilliant, brilliant player. He came to Dortmund at a very young age, and I think that sort of hindered his progress. Right? I mean, people expected a lot of him at a very young age, but now you can see the way that he's playing that Dortmund definitely did their homework before buying him. He won La Liga's Young Player of the Year as well, and it's none other than Alexander Isak. I think a wonderful performance. Of course, didn't get the goal, unfortunately, but he played so well his hold up. For someone who's so tall, he surprisingly has very good, very good feet. Basically, he can dribble past a couple of players, and then his touch is so good as well. But like Lukaku, right? When Lukaku was 21, I think you could see that his touch was poor, right? I mean, he was well built, and even at Manchester United, he was such a great striker, and he used to get 20 goals a season. But then he was made a joke just for his first touch, which is I thought was a bit harsh in all honesty. But he's improved on that now, and he seems like the complete deal. And Isak isn't far behind at just 21 years of age. I think is such an intelligent footballer, and I think he has a massive career ahead of him. It's too soon probably to join a big club, but I think he had a fantastic game. And I think a lot of clubs would probably love to have Alexander Isak in their team. But in all honesty, I don't think we should go for him just yet, but just someone that I was very impressed with. And one more name which I was looking forward to scouting was actually Cheleta Sar of Croatia. He plays for Marseille. I'm a huge fan. I mean, I've been writing articles about him like for a year now, but I've just not been able to speak the rumor into existence, unfortunately. He was linked to Liverpool in January, but then they went ahead and signed Kabak. But he had a poor game in that game. I think the entire squad had a poor game from Croatia, but that was one player who I wanted everyone to be impressed by, but unfortunately wasn't.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of great players there. Ameya, definitely. I think Croatia had an underwhelming game, right, overall. So I think let's see, as in probably they'll do better next time. He definitely is one to watch out for. There's some great banter going on in the chat, guys. So Chris, big up to you. Chris is a great guy, and I know that you guys won the FA Cup, and you got to enjoy, right? Definitely, you guys have won after 50 years, and it's Champions League for us. So I think let's both enjoy it. That's what I can say, right? And Ayush he's a Real Madrid fan, but thanks Ayush for actually supporting Chelsea and being fair there. Big up to you as well. And coming back to Taron, like, what do you think? Like, any particular player that comes to mind to you who really is Chelsea fit?
Yeah, I'll start by mentioning Isak a little bit from what Ameya talked about. I think something that I think is very important is on FIFA 17, he had like 90 potential or something, and he didn't really live up to that. And he's somehow come to his own now, which I was really impressed with him at Sociedad this season. Yeah, Dortmund and the Thomas Tuchel and other teams, he wasn't really living up to his potential, and he moved to Sociedad and he's got his break. But yeah, me personally, I've got two players that come to mind. I'll start with the kind of defender first that could fit into the system. Say we consider and stay with the three at the back next season. One player who impressed me was Denzel Dumfries. I think he's very good in his positional sense, right wing back, making them late runs into the box. Reece James doesn't look like he has that kind of knowledge of when to kind of, make them inverted runs, when to overlap. And Denzel Dumfries was getting into the box, acting as almost like a false right forward at times. And he scored the late goal. It was a header from the box from, I think, Ake crossed it in. And yeah, he won the game against the team they're playing against. Yeah, Dumfries definitely is a player. I've been watching him at PSV Eindhoven, 25 years of age. He seems like he's coming into his prime now. I've actually got him in my fantasy team as well, so I want him to do well in this game. I'm really impressed by Dumfries. And yeah, if I can move on to the next player, Patrick Schick's a very obvious option. I mean, that goal, I was a bit surprised by Schick that he has this much technical ability. I've seen him linking up with Timo Werner at RB Leipzig, playing in the UCL semi-finals in 2018 for Roma. And I didn't really see him as a player. He was very technical. He held up the ball well. He was good with his head. But that goal, I mean, it wasn't an easy goal at all. I mean, he got just in front of the halfway line. He swerved almost like Roberto Carlos style. It was going almost out of the stadium, out for a throw-in, and it somehow came back in and went into the goal, into the top of the net. And yeah, honestly, this guy looks like the real deal for me against the team. Scotland have a good defence. Liam Cooper, experienced playing under Marcelo Bielsa this season. Grant Hanley got promoted this season with Norwich. Not an easy defence to play against. Patrick Schick could have had 4 or 5 goals yesterday. Honestly, what a performance by him. And, I think he's only 24, 25 as well. He's tried to replace Edin Dzeko at Roma. He couldn't, so he moved to Red Bull Leipzig. Now he's playing at Bayer Leverkusen, replaced Kai Havertz there. And he's doing a very good job, in my opinion, this season. And, this guy looks like he could get 6, 7 goals this tournament. And for me, it looks like it's his breakthrough finally. It's needed to happen. A technical player that's tall and strong, you don't see that very often, really, in my opinion. And this guy looks like he's a full package.
If I could just hop in quickly, because Taron mentioned the FIFA players, there was another guy, I don't know if you guys know Guardiola. He is an absolute beast on FIFA. And he started for Croatia at left back, actually. I've never watched him play in real life, guys. I'm not going to lie. Just basing this purely on FIFA, he has mad potential. So he had another underwhelming game. This was my first game of Guardiola, which I watched, in all honesty, and he did not impress me, unfortunately, either. Just wanted to get that across for a laugh.
So, I would like to say, Taron, you're on my good books for sure, because surprisingly, being a Dutch fan, I did not pick Dumfries, right? So he was one of the guys definitely look out for. Again, a PSV Eindhoven guy. That's something that I followed very closely, in the earlier years. So yeah, those are great calls. I think that's about it, guys. We have covered the people that we would like to sign for Chelsea. But now what? Yes, we are still in the Euros MatchDay 1, because tonight we have a huge game. It is the group of death, right? So let's go on to the next section, guys. Okay, so this is probably going to be the make or break, right, for the tournament, I believe. Everyone's saying that, okay, England will probably come second on purpose and whatnot. I think today's result will probably tell how to go further in the tournament. So, Taron, I'll start with you, right? I know that we have, as you saw in the video there, we have 3 players in each team tonight, France versus Germany. Do you see all starting? Obviously, I doubt that, but whom do you see starting realistically?
Yeah, I see Kai Havertz and N'Golo Kante starting. I don't see Timo Werner. I think it'll be Thomas Muller and Serge Gnabry starting up front. Even Leroy Sané can't get into that front 3 at the minute for Germany. And I don't see Timo Werner really starting wing back. So yeah, I think he's not going to start that game. Kante definitely is going to start. Tolisso could have been an option there, but I think it'll be Pogba and Kante. That's a World Cup winning pivot that Deschamps played before. Yeah, Kante is going to be very crucial. Kai Havertz playing in that kind of right inverted forward role. We haven't really seen this season at Chelsea, I think it's fair to say. He's mostly played as a false 9, as an attacking 8. Maybe like Everton when we lost 1-0, he was playing there. Maybe Krasnodar, he played there. Apart from that, I haven't really seen him play there before. But, at Germany, against Latvia, he played amazingly well. I think he got 2 assists for that in that game. And linking up with Muller and Gnabry, Muller dropping deep, Havertz running in behind, Gnabry kind of dribbling at players. It looks like a really, really scary front 3. And I think, Luca Dean or Lucas Hernandez, Kimpembe and Varane should be very scared by Havertz. I think he's going to be crucial. But Timo Werner off the bench, his pace is always an asset. Maybe not shooting at the minute, but that's where Muller can come in to kind of do the finishing. But you know what Timo Werner can do with his stretching of the game and his ability.
Yeah, great call there, Taron. So Ameya, again, I know Benzema kind of injured himself slightly last week, but reports say that he's fit, like Taron touched upon as well. But again, for France, I see Giroud has been a better performer. He kind of deserves it, even in the qualifiers. Although I didn't follow qualifiers so closely, but I do remember Giroud kind of getting quite a few goals even in the qualifiers generally, right? So I believe he deserves it. And imagine Giroud against a Rudiger, right? As in that kind of battle is something as Chelsea fans, I'm sure Ameya you would love to see. Or do you see Benzema starting? What is your preference?
I think Deschamps will go with Benzema for this one. I think Hungary is probably the match that I can see Giroud starting. But let's see what's in his mind. I mean, if he should be fit enough to start, right? Because I don't think there's been any official confirmation whether he's 100% match fit. So he might just be fit enough for the bench. But we'll see how it goes. I hope Giroud does start. I think he gets the best out of all the other players in France, which is why I get so pissed off, especially when opposition fans go around disrespecting Giroud, saying that he didn't score a single goal in France's World Cup winning campaign. I mean, he was the reason everyone else scored those many goals as they
Absolutely,
did. So I think he really gets the best out of everyone there. Let's see how it goes. That Mbappe-Giroud, rivalry sort of is brewing as well. Let's see how they cope up. But I think it's probably going to be Benzema if he's fit enough. If he's not, then I can see Giroud starting. But yeah, let's see how the match goes. Hopefully, it's an interesting one. I mean, it's obviously, I think, easily the most high-profile match we've had so far, especially in the group stages, and hopefully it lives up to it. Hopefully it's not like last night's late kickoff, which I struggle to stay up for.
So
Hopefully it's an exciting
Ukraine
game.
Netherlands kind of game, and that'll be like obviously the best that can be, right? But definitely I don't see Giroud starting either realistically. But again, like I was kind of wondering that Giroud can play against Rudiger. Talking about Rudiger, Taron, again, like these are rumors, a lot of reports. I don't know, with Rudiger comes especially like a lot of negativity in the media. Somehow I don't know, that's something that as Chelsea fans I don't like it at all, knowing Rudiger the way that he performs. But do you really see Rudiger kind of going for the 4th year of contract that he's demanding and not kind of working it out in Marina and co?
Depends if Thomas Tuchel will stay. I mean, he's just won the Champions League, but you don't know what will happen with Roberto Di Matteo back in 2012. He's still got the sack after a poor start to the season. For me, if Tuchel stays, Rudiger stays, because clearly there's 3 players that Tuchel really wants starting for him. And that's Mason Mount, Edouard Mendy, and Antonio Rudiger. Silva can be rotated, but Christensen, Azpilicueta and Reece James kind of rotated. But for me, Rudiger is that guy. The first day against Wolves when Thomas Tuchel came in, Rudiger was nowhere near even the subs bench at that time. He threw him in, no match sharpness, no match fitness, obviously, and he brought him in. And from then onwards, he's been a mainstay in the team, really showing he fits Thomas Tuchel's system to a T. His pressing, he's great in the high line, he's great driving out defense. This guy is built for this system. And yeah, for me, I don't think it's very concrete at all that Rudiger's going to be leaving. If a new manager comes in, then yeah, I can see it happening. But even if we go to a 4 at the back, a lot of people are thinking Rudiger's going to turn into like the Joker or someone like that when he goes back to left centre back. But this is a system that's very compact defensively. There's not many holes left within the midfield and defence like the previous system. It seems like it's perfect for Rudiger, left back, left centre back, in the back 3, back 4. I think he's built for this. And as soon as Thomas Tuchel, the German connection's gonna keep coming. And yeah, I think Rudiger's gonna stay. And I think he will sign a new contract, as Simon Johnson's been reporting.
Yeah, I agree there totally. Like, we've spoken about all the Chelsea players in the game tonight, and the only N'Golo Conte, right? Ameya, this is the time that N'Golo Conte probably deserves a Ballon d'Or, right? Can you see N'Golo Conte getting 5 goals in the tournament?
Definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, but he should just stick to what he does best, which is winning the ball back and then progressing it well. And I think Benjamin Pavard actually came out and said that if France win the Euros, then N'Golo Kanté should win the Ballon d'Or, which is quite feisty considering that he's teammates with Lewandowski. I don't think his club's going to be very happy with that, are they? But hopefully he does. I think Lewandowski's been robbed of the Ballon d'Or. Last year, of course, I think he definitely deserved it, but then they called it off altogether, unfortunately for him. So this time around, he's broken Gerd Muller's record as well this season. So he is absolutely gunning for it this time, isn't he, Lewandowski? But I think the Euros performance, if that's also being taken into consideration, then 100% N'Golo Kanté should be in the running. Hopefully he does finish, maybe if not win, at least in the top 3. That would be absolutely phenomenal for him. Such a humble guy. And every time someone asks him, do you think you deserve the Ballon d'Or? And he says, no, I just want to play. I'm just a regular player. And he's just so nice. And he will never come out and say, you know what, I deserve this or something like that. But hopefully he does, finish somewhere in the top 3. I don't know if you call that a podium. In F1, we call it a podium. But if he can finish in the top 3, I'd be looking forward to his speech, really. That would be some entertainment, wouldn't it?
You know what? He just gave an interview, I believe, a couple of days earlier, right? So this was basically the new sponsor of Chelsea asking him, like, what do you do in your free time? What is your way of enjoyment? He's like, no, I'll just be at home, and that's something that I love. That is N'Golo Conte for you, right? Really, a common, simple man can relate to N'Golo Conte the best, probably. I know we shouldn't be kind of sensitive and talk about persona, but that's how he is on the pitch. just talking and doing football. That's what he does, right? And that's the best he's at. So, guys, I think we are there. I would ask the people in the chat, please smash that like button, and also, comment below what is basically, you think the result of this group. I know we didn't speak about the other match, Portugal Hungary, but in my opinion, France still are the best. But I would like to know, what do you all think? And it's time for our predictions as well, guys. So, Taron, I'll come to you. What do you think is going to be the prediction score for tonight?
Yeah, France v Germany. I'm going to predict 2-0 win for Germany. I think, France has been a lot of dispute in the group and with the team at the minute. Even though Mbappe is maybe not going to be starting with Giroud today, I think Mbappe maybe doesn't look settled. He came out in a live interview and started, chatting all this waffle about the France team. So I think, it's not looking great for France at the minute. I don't think Kimpembe is experienced enough at an international level to play to high ability. Thomas Muller's been there, done that. Serge Gnabry is a Champions League winner. He knows what it's like. Kai Havertz maybe is the player that I really want to do well tonight. And I just think Germany's system at the minute, that group at the back with Rudiger left centre-back, with Robin Gosens and Joshua Kimmich from the wing-backs, it really does look frightening. And Latvia, Latvia aren't a very big team, but they were absolutely blown away. They had no shots, no chances, anything. They were just blown away to the shreds in that game. And, France, obviously, respect to them. They have our boy Kante. They have Koeman. They have Griezmann and Benzema. But I just think this system is really, really good at Germany playing at the minute. And 2-0 win, Kai Havertz double.
That's a great one. I don't mind Chelsea boys scoring, and I would rather want Werner to get in scoring form. But yes, great call. I think it's a surprising call, but I think it's quite possible. Ameya, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with France on this one. I know that, some great points made by Taron, of course, but at the same time, France is just too good of a team, right? I mean, I remember having this conversation with someone. I don't think it was on a stream. It was with one of my friends, and their under-21 squad would probably do better than most national teams in the Euros. So I think France squad, it's just too good. They've got so much world-class depth on the bench as well. So if it does come to that, I see them winning 2-1. I think for me, that's what I think France are going to win 2-1. I still want Havertz to score. I think every Chelsea fan wants Havertz to score, doesn't he? Of course, Werner as well, a good shout, but Havertz is the man in form. He has that confidence, especially after that Latvia game. So I'm going to go with the 2-1 win. I think let's go with Giroud. You know what? Let's go with all Chelsea boys. A Giroud brace. And let's get him one step closer to that Thierry Henry record. I really want him to break that record. An Olivier Giroud brace and a Kai Havertz goal for me. But let's see how it goes. I think it's going to be an interesting match for sure. And like Taron mentioned, I think Germany can definitely be up for it because this is Joachim Löw's last tournament, and we're going to see Hans-Dieter Flick, who's going to replace Löw. So I think the players will want to give it their all, especially after the disappointment of the World Cup a couple of years back. I think they're definitely going to be up for it. And will they be uplifted enough to beat France, to beat the world champions? I'm not quite sure, but hopefully it's an interesting matchup. Hopefully both teams just don't sit back and settle for the draw. That's all I'm hoping for, in all honesty.
Yeah, I don't want to bore you guys by saying that I predict a draw, but actually I predict a high-scoring draw, right? So I would go for a 2-2. That is something that I would really love to watch, and the group becomes really more interesting than what it is already. On also says that King Kai to score tonight. I think Kai Havertz is the talk of the town, right? As in fair point, as in Champions League winner, he deserves it as well. So guys, I think we've come to the end of the stream. I hope all of you have just liked the stream, as well as any comments that you have, anything that you would like to add that we would like to discuss. We are more than happy to do that. Having said that, I'll come to the panel. Taron, anything that you would like to talk about to the guys in the chat, or maybe just generally about the Euros?
Yeah, just first I'd like to say thanks for inviting me on the stream. It's been very well structured, amazing insights. Great to be on with Ameya as well for the first time, and definitely won't be our last time to link up on YouTube, on Spotify, anything like that. And yeah, it's been a really good stream. Regarding the Euros, I think it's just going to be an amazing competition. Already we've seen wonder goals. You've seen great games. You've seen England win a game for the first time, like in their first ever game, like the first group game. Absolutely insane, mad things are happening right now, and the Euros are living up to their hype at the minute. I was personally really looking forward to this for some reason. Even the World Cup, I was a bit like, I prefer club football, but this Euros really looks amazing. We have Netherlands and Italy actually in it this time. All the big clubs, all the big nations, and it's really looking amazing. But if you don't mind, I could give a quick plug to my podcast to anyone listening, all the listeners right now. To everyone listening, I'm doing a daily podcast on Spotify and Apple with a lot of special guests coming on for the next 30 days every single day. 7 a.m. UK time. It's going to come out. And yeah, we talked about the 3 games the day before. So obviously yesterday we did the 3 games. We talked about the key talking points, injury news updates, reviewing the games, key talking points. And yeah, just it's all vibes, all great vibes. Me and Arvin, the co-host. And yeah, thinking of adding Ameya. I'm going to DM you after Ameya to try and get you on there. And yeah, cool. All great vibes. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Ankit.
Totally. My pleasure as well. And I would second that for sure, guys. It's one of the best podcasts that I've ever listened to. And, they are the Chelsea podcasts. That's what I would say, as big as that, right? And I think probably in hand goes Ameya and his channel, because I have been possibly the follower of Ameya's channel from God knows when. So Ameya, over to you.
Yeah, as always, thank you so much for having me on. It was great. I hope we can do this again. Like the 3 of us, I feel like we have really good chemistry, and we should definitely make this a thing. But yeah, I think thanks for having me on. Thanks for supporting my channel as well. Hopefully, I can be of as much help with you as I can, because you've definitely helped my channel out a lot, watching my videos and giving, just basically interacting with our live streams as well. I know Ankit is always there, ready to comment every time we have a live stream. So really great guy. And to anyone listening who's not probably subscribed or liked his videos yet, do definitely do that, and do stay in touch with Ankit, because he's a great guy. Hopefully I could have been of more assistance, because we are from the same city, and I know, like, when I saw you at RCBian Chelsea Fan TV, at first I was going, interesting, but then later on I got to know that you're actually an RCB fan. Unfortunately, though, I used to follow cricket as a kid, but later on when I got into football, everything else took a back step, right? I just stopped watching everything else. I just follow a bit of F1 for now. Hopefully I could have been of more use, because, being from the same city, RCB and Chelsea, that would have really been something, wouldn't it? But hopefully it does. Hopefully we do see RCB succeeding as well. We have been waiting for a while now, haven't we? But that's the end of my plug. Of course, my channel, if you guys are interested, it's called CFC Chats. If you probably search it on YouTube, it should ideally come up, because there's no other channel with a similar sounding name. But that's been my time, and thank you for having me on. As always, hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Yes, like Rich Sports just said, right? The reason I did not talk much about CFC Chats is because people wouldn't be already knowing it. But yes, I probably assumed there, right? Having said that, great time, guys, and I second that as well. We definitely should do a stream together again, and I'm sure on your podcast and channels as well, we'll probably get together. And having said that, let's get back for match day 2. For now, I think that's about it, guys. Do subscribe and follow us all. And take care of you all, especially people in India, and get well soon, right? Thank you.